What's up, Brian Tong here, and the low-cost Apple laptop with an iPhone chip inside. It is happening, so we're going to talk about what we should expect. Plus, Apple has found their partner to power the next version of Apple Intelligence and Siri, and it's Google. Oh yeah. So let's start off with the entry-level MacBook, and it's been rumored for a while, but the latest report from Bloomberg's Mark Gurman says Apple is entering the low-cost laptop market for the first time. The goal? Well, that's to lure away customers from Chromebooks and entry-level Windows PCs. The slab top is codenamed J700 internally, and it is expected to be the first from Apple to use an iPhone chip inside. Multiple reports claim it will likely use the A18 Pro chip, which is the same chip found in the iPhone 16 Pro. Now, this new laptop, according to Gurman, will be designed for students, business users, and casual users, which is like 80-90% of the user base. So if you browse the web, work on documents online, email, and do some light photo and video editing, you're going to be good to go. The report says internal tests have shown that this chip performs better than the M1 chip that was made for Macs, just a few years ago. Its multi-core performance is nearly identical to the M1 chip in a 2020 MacBook Air, and it outperforms it in graphics performance with an updated GPU architecture. It would be a first-time shift from Apple using its M-series chips in Macs, but from a cost perspective, it would be better, and it is in active testing at Apple right now. Now, current reports believe it will have a 13-inch display that's slightly smaller than the 13.6-inch display on the current MacBook Air. It will use a lower-end LCD display, not a mini LED, and that will allow it to have even better battery life, and is expected to come out in 2026. Now, this target price is also expected to be well under $1,000, and if we look at past history, this could be somewhere around or maybe even under $700. There was a time when Apple was actually selling a discontinued M1 MacBook Air through Walmart for under $700, and it wasn't widely publicized, but clearly they were using it to gather data and test the market to see how people responded. And if they can deliver on this, it will likely help them gain some of that traction that they lost in the education market, where low-cost Chromebooks have taken over while Apple has been on the sidelines watching for years. And I know the iPad with a Magic Keyboard has been able to get penetration with some segment of the education market, but it's not even close when it comes to Chromebooks. Because after school, it's all about what's the best computer that's affordable that I can play games on. These young people no longer care or want a Mac to be their very first next computer. Like with all my nieces and nephews, guess what computer they want? It's a PC, because that's where they can game with all the top titles with their friends. A Mac isn't even considered for their next computer, and this has been happening for years. So first, Apple, get those customers in the lower end PC market, and the next level of this strategy is gaming, right? Keep focusing on getting gaming at the same level as a PC, which they have, they've been really working hard on over the past, I would say 3 to 4 years specifically, but they still trail by light years. And until I see Marvel Rivals or Valorant or Counter-Strike or PlayStation PC games on a Mac, they're behind. Now, Apple needs to change this, but right now, this entry-level Mac is a great start. Apple's current cheapest Mac is a M4 MacBook Air that starts at $999. It's $899 with education discounts. And according to IDC data, Apple recently held 9% of the global PC market in the third quarter. They trail behind Lenovo, HP, and Dell, and they all have more affordable Windows or Chrome OS options. But this strategy is a smart one that will make a difference. A cheaper Mac at the same level of design and reliability that Apple is known for could create a whole new wave of Mac adoption and likely increase their PC market share. I mean, it's bound to happen. So I want to know, what do you think of this? Let's say the price is around $700. Is this appealing for you or for your family members? Do you think this is a good Apple strategy or a bad Apple? Hey, let me know in the comments and I will read them, because I'm always lurking in the comments. Okay, let's get back to the latest stories, and we've talked about Apple potentially looking for a partner to boost its Apple Intelligence and next generation of Siri, and it looks like they found it in Google. Bloomberg reports Apple is planning to pay about $1 billion a year to Google for a 1.2 trillion parameter artificial intelligence model developed by Google that would power its new overhauled Siri voice assistant. Now, it dwarfs Apple's current 150 billion parameter model that is used today for the cloud-based version of Apple Intelligence. This would give the new Google Gemini-powered Apple Intelligence a whole lot more power to process complex data and understand context. Now, two things that Siri is flat out or really near unusable for most of the time. This would not only be a huge move, but a much needed one for Apple. And in my past videos, I've outright said Google is the company that they should partner with. They already have their long-standing relationship with search in Safari that makes this easier to execute, so they're familiar with each other. Now, ChatGPT is an incredibly powerful tool, while Google's Gemini is the best smart assistant for consumers on a smartphone today, and that's what it appears they're really going to use to power the next Siri. You also have OpenAI, right? The company behind ChatGPT, coming out with a future product of their own. Former Apple design legend Johnny Ive is partnering with Sam Altman in a tech bromance we haven't seen since the days of Johnny and SJ. And they are directly putting Apple right in their crosshairs with their unannounced revolutionary product, we'll have to wait and see, which might make that alliance maybe more awkward. Now, the report says Apple and Google are finalizing an agreement that would give them access to Google's technology. And I've seen comments in my previous videos like, no way, I'm not giving Google my data. If they do this, I'm out. Well, the model will run on Apple's own private cloud compute servers, so that user data remains walled off from Google's infrastructure. Apple's already allocated AI server hardware to help power the model because, come on, Apple wouldn't compromise its privacy promise that they have built on really a strong reputation with if they were going to do anything like this. So, no, I don't think you're out on Apple when this deal happens, but we know how people are really bold in the comments. All right, Apple is banking on Google's help to rebuild Siri's underlying technologies. Yes, and bringing new features to the table in 2026. It is reportedly on track for release next spring. And the idea is that Apple will partner with Google until their own models are powerful enough. The big leaps made by AI companies' models, we have seen them become less and less over time. And think about this, there's going to be a point in time in a few years, maybe the next 3 to 5, where everyone's models will generally be as smart as each other unless some of them have some access to proprietary data, or maybe they're used for specific disciplines. But beyond that, that's when you could see Apple saying goodbye to Google once most of the models that are out there on the market are generally the same. Now, the new Gemini-powered voice assistant is planned for iOS 26.4, according to this report. So that's before we see iOS 27. Apple will be treating Google as the behind-the-scenes technology supplier, and it'll be interesting to see how Apple promotes this upgrade, because my hunch is that Google might not even be mentioned. It's one of those things that if you know, you know. Siri has been beat up over the years, and rightfully so. So I just doubt that Apple wants to publicly say, hey, we partner with Google because we just aren't good enough right now. So we'll see how this all comes together, but I'm actually encouraged that Apple admitted how far behind they were falling and are doing something about it. We'll just have to see how this all translates to us, the users, in the first half of next year. And will it be compelling enough? That's the big question to be answered. All right, that is going to do it for this video. If you like what you see, give me that thumbs up, subs up, and hit that notification bell, ding, to get on my latest videos when they drop. And if you want more of that Apple goodness, you can check out my weekly Apple Bits XL audio podcast with the latest stories and special guests. Plus, you can support all my content with an ad-free version of the podcast, early access to my content, and exclusive content at patreon.com/Brian Tong. So thank you so much for the support. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you on the next video. Peace and love.